Welcome to our lovely future humans, to those who love to do that which is mental and emotional practices for your personal growth, spiritual growth, that which involves transcending, by the way, intuition and illusion. It's if you choose love, which is you choosing to be yourself. And you choose yourself not by abandoning other people, as we were talking about a couple days ago, or leaving someone out to hang or dry. So the emotionally mature person is mystic, spiritual, and mindfully aware that anyone who is not living truth and balance, because they're not a subjective experiencing aware person, so they don't know how to discern and to differentiate, and to remember that their intuition and delusion can be off. That's channel or download, it doesn't matter. So the expert prophets, expert yogis, expert anyone, if you're an expert at something, then you're going to know you don't know everything. And then you're also going to know when you're in communion with God in life that we each have different groups for reasons. So when you're balanced by inspiration and faith, or you're balanced by inspiration and grounded in reality data, this is the part of why objective, we have a certain amount of lovely quantitative data analysis. Everything else you could just consider like 97% of what is out there. Remember that famous quote I've been using? I found out I've been using it kind of wrong, but at the end of the day, 3% is observable of the cosmos, 97% is not. And when you're a mystic and you're a channeler and you know of sciences, you're like, yeah, you know what, that makes sense. That's why I got Gargamel in the corner and I got Smurfs everywhere. So you're able as a mystic and a spiritual one to know God always has everything taken care of. Those who want to be right, no, those who want to correct and think that that is being responsible, and then they use God's name or Akash or divinity, or they use Jesus' name, or they do any of the spiritual names, or they use their science titles, doctors, whatever, and they're not actually right. Smart human beings discern easily what it's not anything impressive to meet a mediocre mind, because that's exactly what you got in front of you. It doesn't matter what side of the coin they think they come from. The minute they're entitled in their brain, they have a huge blind spot. Oh, it's not just ego, it's complete blinders. So you're not impressed if you're a empowered human being and an enlightened one, because you have compassion all through your pores. You have forgiveness because you're feeling like anybody else. You have intellect, which means you have intelligence. You're not stupid. Anyone who doesn't have the capacity to know we have blind spots is stupid. It means that they don't have the awareness that they're human and they're vulnerable at all, always. So the reason so many of the ancient philosophers, smart ones, enlightened ones will talk to you about getting to know yourself is because that's a very important thing. As long as you disregard attachment science and getting to know all of you as a grown-up, you're not aligned, conscious, subconscious, let alone do you know how you are handling that which would be the intuition that I've had people come to me and say that they're always right. So on that note, the ability to bring out the best in others makes person a leader. Thank you, Sadhguru. Some of our multidimensional lovely brothers and sisters will want to stay in their pretend land because the 4D collective is right about whatever it is. They don't like to work on their anxiety or depression. They don't like words. They don't like that which is being presented to them as, okay, equanimity means that you know how to be calm and centered. It means you self-regulate. It means you are a non-traumatized human being who has the mastery of anger, and it is amazing. The one emotion you continuously will work with is that one. And in fact, humility is a very specific frequency, and when you are in communion with God, it will be easy for you to always know it, because He will make sure you will know it immediately, not later on in life. And that's because those of us who are in oneness with love, we don't choose fear. Because when you meet cowards, there's one coward, two cowards, three. I was an adolescent. Betrayer, 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 liar, 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 liar. Okay, you know what? I know I'm not perfect, but I think I'm done with all of you all. I was stupid too. Okay, who was my herd? There you go. That's how Maria handled her adolescent years. So FYI, I'm integrating stories with this. So for one-to-one mentorship, it's for people who want a personalized program. You're already doing stuff with your mindful mindset practices. You like self-awareness. You like accountability. You love regulating. I mean, really, the moment that I was proudest of myself was in a very specific instant. And then I said, wonder if I made a difference. I don't know. We'll find out. But you know, at the end of the day, our soul contracts are to all of our brothers and sisters. And then with our immediate oversoul, I have my oversoul. I'm an empowered feminine. I have my light body, all my Merkaba is mine. I never have need of others for the questions of the spiritual stuff. I do learn from others. I don't need them to guide me, though. This is the part. I actually don't have questions on who is guiding me. And when people think that there's bad JoJo and Juju and Reiki, I just think it's so sad. They don't understand what energy means and frequency means. Like, they really don't understand the beauty of that, which is a blank slate, because a frequency is a frequency. So karma, thank you Sadhguru, is neither good or bad. Like, your brain doesn't discern between good or bad, doesn't do wise good judgment. So if you get used to the dark sides of neuroplasticity, you're going to use that. If you use the good sides of neuroplasticity, you're going to use that. And learning how mindset is everything, because it's going to help you to work with this and to give you, but it's not only mindset. As you know, willpower is not the fixing of a body that is in survival mode. Thank you, Dr. Amy Pegan. So people will have first those who help them to get their ventral vagal, use their mammalian heritage, then they'll be committed, if they have discipline, to their healing, because they'll want it. Even though, as Hippocrates points out, people say they want it, but then they don't want to do it. And in fact, there are those who are, damn it, I want them now. So, you have the individuals who use a lot of fancy words, and then you have the people who they can use words, but we don't care about them being fancy or not. We do know what works and what doesn't. What works is when you're a person who has the aligned conscious of you, you don't fall for the illusion of vague bad feeling or unspecific sense of knowing. Yeah, we don't fall for it thinking that it knows everything. We also intuition deeper, more direct knowing that provides a sense of rightness. Yeah, we don't fall for that shit either, because the karma, right or wrong, yeah, that's black and white thinking. When you grow up, you learn that you don't know everything and things can happen. So you don't hone in on it as one way or the other way. You're like, okay, I know out of common sense, grounded in reality, that some of my cherishable beliefs can be falsifiable, and that repeat patterns doesn't mean necessarily that it's always going to happen. But if there's enough of repeat patterns, now I'm going to move towards the 99.9999%. And I'm going to leave the unknown there, because it's better just in case there's that exception to the rule. People surprise you, so do businesses. So you want to allow yourself to consistently move towards the zero of walk like an Egyptian, because one, that way you don't have all this weight over here and you imbalance yourself, but instead you allow the universe, life, and God and all to bring everything in. And here's where Dharma comes into the mix. So when you're restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating, you love to have intuition and illusion, because you don't actually confuse it to be spelling out the truth. No, you have truth and balance as you're inspired by your own faith and or by dark matter, dark energy, meaning science. And you know that karma is neither good nor bad. It is the glue that makes you stick to this body. The moment you wash away, all your karma will leave. So your body is actually healing itself on its own. That's why the empowered feminine is awesome. It's the body connected and the mammalian heritage. So while some people think that we need to be different, the human species, that's why when they talk about upgrades and energies and ascension, you always see that they're kind of saying that we don't have what it takes right now, while we do have what it takes. Neuroplasticity, neuroscience, neurobiology explains how it can impact genes positively, and like changes that it can make. This why the ones who think it's unnatural don't understand it's not unnatural, since it's bringing every person back home to their true origins, to homeostasis. So they have it inverted, because when you want to own words, I don't want science to explain. I want it to only be in my realm. I know you can't explain it. And they deny something just because they're stingy with it. So Jesus says the kingdom of God is within you. Restorative embodiment. Go get it. You're going to find out how amazing it is. So when they're living it already, the people who know, I know ventral energy, it's not wine. Wine weighs me down if it's too much. Any of alcohol will actually really get you not where you want to be. So every person's health is of a specific type of biochemistry is what I use as words, but I'm saying you will learn how your system works, and then you will learn how young is not young forever, but there's ways to use eustress, and then there's ways you want to use your embodied brain to bring forth flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable mannerisms. Because as Dr. Daniel Siegel presents, when it's rigidity or chaos, that's uncomfortable. So when people don't have a window of tolerance, that they expand to window welcome, so they don't use mindsight skills to sift sensations, images, feelings, thoughts. They don't use the mindfulness skills to be focusing their attention and awareness on themselves. And then notice, oh, look, let me regulate for a minute. So whether it is easy or hard, you never lose focus on where you want to go. Thank you, Sadhguru. When people are taking karma and making it their own, where is it, and becoming dharma, here's Sadhguru. Karma, he says, is about shifting responsibility from heaven. So he's trying to say in this quote to yourself. This is how you become the very maker of your own destiny. And as he points out, you will be having divinity descend once you overflow in humanity. What I love about his quotes is they're always talking about a person who is at their best self, which the scientists that teach me about restorative embodiment spell out. So you'll know when you are in the enlightenment soul age group, because you will know that you have compassion with people, and that is because you don't need to control them, and they are not yours and you're not theirs. True compassion is not about giving and taking, it's about doing what is needed. So people who are functional child adults, we don't long to connect in a way of ourselves feeling meaningless if we didn't connect. We can be sad, we'll cry about it, we can be angry about it, we can be afraid, no. That's the part of where, so for fear, it's only about, at least for me, physical safety. That's when fear kicks in, the real fear. The other stuff that is of insecure people, I don't know it because I'm not afraid of being alone. I'm not afraid anymore. I actually have no, like my 24 hours, I have a bunch of things to do. Like when I'm actually having to split it up, I'm like, okay, I love all of you. You all know this. So it's this thing called, we only have 24 hours in a day, and when you are busy with doing things, but at the end of the day, luckily when you build secure connections, people who are emotionally mature, we all figured these things out. Every moment of your life, whether you do or don't do, whatever you do or don't do, your karma is dissolving. Again, I'm quoting Sadhguru some more, and I can explain to you why. You can deeply be involved with everything but not identified with it anymore. And once that awareness is there, once you are desireless in that sense, there is no karmic bondage for the person. Okay, so when people who like to just use the word karma, I want to change my karma, I'm going to let you just put that to the side. And so I use karma to mean our implicit memory, explicit memory, that which is a part of you, because that's why I read through that other quote first, where it dissolves in time, as your body's always going to uncharge, because the attachment science shares with that, and so does Peter Levine, and so do all those who talk to you about trauma being stored in muscles, bones, and tissues, your body being able to move into its ventral vagal state. Okay, so that if there's one thing you get from this, is that to transcend intuition and illusion by choosing love and not fear in life is why you avoid fearful ones, meaning you leave them alone. So you don't avoid hanging around them. No, you differentiate when you're around them, because they're poor human beings who don't know how to wield their own 14-month-old, let alone their nervous system, and shit went down, that they are capable, like the choo-choo train, of getting to someone like Patrick Tian or Dr. Daniel Fox. They're capable. Every person in the era that we're in is capable of getting good therapy. The ones who have complained about it because they say it's inaccessible, I've met many who offer their services for free. Now, the ones who talk about the bad therapists, yeah, there's bad mystic spiritual ones too who tell you to go to them and not to therapy, okay? So let's just remember, the bad stuff is a professional who doesn't care about what they do, which is very clear to those of us who don't follow trending topics. Those who care about what they are and what they do for themselves care about their well-being, so their common sense. Those who are mystics and spiritual and are in communion with God and Akash are not going to say to you, you need me to get there. No, you don't need me. That's completely incorrect. I am merely a vehicle that is going to potentially cross your path, and or more, you get you connected, because it's your higher self, not mine. It's your body, not mine. You will transcend intuition and illusion if you choose to look yourself in the mirror and then notice, are you trying to say that you're right more than another person, and that you're correct, and that your anger is justified, that you have a right to get in someone's face like this, or that, what's going on in the world, you have a right to be like, are you using anger that way? Just because that's the one emotion that people like to say is justified, and they don't understand how mature anger works. And they don't want to, which is fine. And that's why the 43 are going to stick around. All the masculines are unimpressive. Mediocre people are unimpressive because all they have to do is begin to get all pissy in their pants. They know everything, and now I'm bored, but I'm going to listen to you because my mother taught me to respect people and differences, and so did God. And how not to chime in. And the not chiming in is actually because I learned with adolescence what I didn't want, which was to spend hours and hours and hours trying to repeat myself over and over and over again, and to make sure you wouldn't, get all pissy in your pants about it. Not you, the people. And so self-agents who are like, yeah, no, I didn't say it that way. I got it. I might have said it wrong. I still didn't say it that way. It doesn't matter. I gonna keep on putting my 3-year-old foot down. Are you stupid? Yeah, you know what? That's fine with me. But can I completely disengage? But I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say yes. And no. And that's why it becomes futile to actually engage. So once you begin to know, as you get to your mid-20s, that people are either going to completely move into transcending their own buffoonery. We're all buffoons when we're adolescents, thinking we know everything. Okay, so that's the part of why it's easy to recognize when you have someone who's afraid, because their fear tactics are nothing more than Cusco's hand. And if you watch Cusco, the Emperor's New Groove, and you see all the way to the middle when he's crying all by himself, and Pacha makes it look like Pacha abandoned him completely. Pacha didn't abandon him. He was waiting for him with the lamas, because that's what a functional child adult knows. A human being will know you're human and I'm a human. And with all the attachment trauma education, they will also be aware of that, which is called person who doesn't know how to handle themselves. Now, physical safety is number one priority for anyone, but what I've noticed is people will be more fond of going to follow idiots who question their children like little soldiers, and then they have these 10 ways to watch their fucking back, when I think if you need to watch your fucking back like that, means you don't know how to use your back or your head. So I wouldn't be concerned with some random human being interviewing some other random human being giving me 10 ways to nothing. I'd be in some room getting myself worked on. Okay, I don't trust my gut, I don't trust my brain, I don't trust shit. I'm confused about everything, and I really don't trust humans. So can you help me? Because that's what I would do. Because the minute that you're watching your back every moment of your day, what kind of a life is that? Oh, and this is not even like actual physical threat. This is relationships, by the way. Excuse me, I forgot. Not all, like the one. Monogamous, monoamory people apparently have a really big issue with trusting one human being, to the point of where it's like, wow, I thought you had more things going on in life than just one human being. I'm Maria, I'm 20, I'm just thinking, here's my story, my first serious relationship. And never forget, as the grown-ups, they said this to us kids as we're grown up. The first love, it will not be like anyone else. And I'm a month in the breakup, and I'm like, I'm still processing it, because he was the one for me in my mind. So that's a soulmate. And in fact, I got to, because I'm a mystic, and our oversoul doesn't break away from us when you're an empowered mystic, because you don't cut people out of your life, because you're in communion with God. So again, you know exactly what the energy is. It's not bad JoJo and bad juju, and anybody who thinks anything like frequency can be bad, it's like, okay, they put stories in your head and you let them, and I'm going to leave it alone, because I don't prove any of this. You keep following your Wendy with her books. I'm sure she's fascinating beyond a shadow of a doubt. So that's how it feels for those of us who do know God doesn't come to hurt his children, nor would an empowered feminine come to eat you alive. So when someone is so upset and so angry, they're blinded by their I'm right. And so they use words. Oh, they use it all the time. You completely allow yourself to notice people irritate you simply because they are not the way you expect or want them to be. Essentially, they're not like you. Thank you, Sadhguru. Yes, and divinity, yeah, it is your ability to transcend perceived limitations. You consistently are going to be present. That's the one thing. So it's self-awareness and accountability and regulation. And so it's Maria's always here, which means she has an automatic blind spot. Her name's Maria. And that is not good or bad. It is Maria will have from the womb began to feel things a certain way, all that good stuff of my implicit memory. I want to read to you something else. And that's why it's not good or bad to be yourself. It's just yourself is going to have blind spots. And so you transcend intuition and illusion by choosing love, living truth and balance, letting yourself, for me, it's inspiration and faith, and then it's also all the somatic therapists out there and the best of the best, all the multidimensional beings who know that love is what wins. We also know that those who think there's a battle, they need that, because drama kings and queens are hooked on their actual pseudo-aliveness. Their trauma stuff, yeah, they're hooked on it. It's not funny. When people get off of panic attacks, and that's sexually speaking, it's disgusting to perceive it. And that's why it's better to say, you know what? Nobody's in my energy sphere. I'm just going to wave my hands around like I just don't care. And I'm going to like, I have panic attacks. Yahoo! So let me get rid of you, whatever that is. Get the fuck away from me. And that's it, because there's no monster, by the way. So again, when I got told of this monster, I was like, where is he? I don't see him, God. I have a friend of mine, he has, as we're talking about this, he's a mystic. He's like, you know what you're doing, Maria, is dangerous. Like, what? Looking in your eyes? You're not dangerous. No, Maria. I said, what? Looking in there? You did notice they have a skull, right? Like, they're human. They're not invincible. There's no cloak. And actually, I'm the mystic. So really, I'm not sure where the danger is. Actually, pathologies are pretty clear. When they become fussy like Linus with his blanket, I'm like, wow, okay, let me see. How can I handle Cusco with his attitude? No, I don't have to. So where Pacha is always able to handle Cusco, because he knows that Cusco can become, like God knows all his children and Akash Source, they can all become the best version of themselves. That's what a good parent knows. Which is why when I bring in science, hey, I can consider science the truth. It's not going to break me, because it's not my truth. It's not my belief. But I'm not going to say it's not true, because I would be stupid to think that I know everything, because that's automatic. Also, it's unreasonable. Also, it would mean that I'm afraid. I'm not afraid that they are speaking words from their mouth, because I also know what quantitative data is. And then I know what everything else is, which is why I don't make a big deal out of all of the other stuff. I mean, I'm a philosopher right now. Look. Oh, sure. Power where? Where's the power? I got the power. So words are not powerful. For those of us who don't have this thing of power, I find it hilarious when people are using fancy words for things that are common sense to those of us who are grounded in reality. So transcending your intuition and illusion, let me read to you, because seriously, I'm like, okay, we all do it. Cultivate awareness and presence. Check, doing it right now. We don't question our ego's narrative. We play with our ego's narrative, then we play with the other narratives, and we play here, and we play there, and we play everywhere. And then we're like, okay, no need to get pissy in our pants when things don't go the way we want. God knows best. It's fine. We might not like it, but we're not the spiteful teenagers, because that's what we are not. The spiteful teenagers. The system's trying to suppress me. I was a teenager. Anarchy. And people are like, no. I'm like, I'm not afraid of humans. Why are you afraid of humans? No, I'm not afraid of humans, but we need a system. Yeah, but who cares about the system? So luckily we have a system. And that's because mindfulness and meditation. So aligning your conscious and subconscious through cultivating awareness. Check. You can be in your prefrontal. Then intention and harmony. Check. You don't use the intention. You allow yourself to get to know yourself. And with self-reflection, awareness, so you contemplate all of that ego stuff. You also practice differentiating everything. So you have a nervous system, you have thoughts, you have a past, you have all of that. Embracing deeper connection to reality. Yes, so the reality is that we have subjective reality, which is why when this gets told, it's like, okay, so you go beyond the superficial appearance of things to connect with deeper, more authentic truth. Thing is, we all have biases. That's why these words aren't what incorporates you transcending your intuition, your illusion. I transcend it because I choose love. I choose this. And I know exactly when I'm presented with somebody who's different than me, that we're different. And whether they're emotionally mature or immature, it's going to go the same way. I'm Maria, nice to meet you. I don't change. This is who I am. What do you want? It's going to be fun over here. Over here is going to look like a fun time to me, because I don't really care about how they can get pissing their pasts. I'm going to reiterate my healthy boundaries, because that's what I do. And if I don't want to be your friend, I won't give you mixed messages. So the part about when we have no expectations, it's because we don't expect that you have to be my friend. And I will not expect of me to have to be your friend. I am not obligated to be social with all beings. I'm not obligated to be nice to you, but I will choose to be the best version of myself, because my mother taught me manners. So I will be polite. And if someone wants to say that's hypocrisy, to me that's okay, because I'd rather be a hypocrite in that instance than be an asshole who's a buffoon who gets in someone's face, thinks they're right, and in the meantime, ego's all over that. And so the part about those who use masks, they like to play with that which is the words of society. If you have integrity and morality, you know what the right thing is to do, which is to respect differences automatically, because you will have a sense of self that will know how to stand down with the fact that you have emotional maturity in addition to awareness. And consistency is key to you continuing to align your conscious and subconscious. But once it's aligned completely, you're a self-led person. And that's who the collective here is. We don't need our lovers and our people, all relationships, to give us approval. We are our own lover. We are our own human, and that's why the divine feminines and masculines don't get tested. Empowered people don't get tested because we don't long for a connection. We are aware of what we're wanting in life. I want a healthy, loving, supportive relationship. So teenage Marie already knew that, because I know what love is, because I got taught it, because I am not a burden, and I am not a waste of your time, and I'm not a sacrifice, and I'm not any of all of that. I'm actually part of a herd like Manny, Diego, and Sid, with no petty stuff. So when you have higher self-led people, they know that we are all a heart that will recognize a heart in the other. Where's my lovely little quote? And that if people are emotionally immature, that they don't want to do the work. They don't want the work, they want the love. So I can provide that which is support, but I won't actually allow that which is something that would be unnecessary in my life. So let me read the quote. Heart that lives in recognizing itself in one another. This is a stream of consciousness that came from my heart in a project, a fun one. And we'll close out with a story and or more. Okay, so when you are multidimensional, as new or old soul, doesn't matter, you're not confused if you're of our 5D collective, because again, you transcend intuition and illusion because you've chosen love. You do live truth and balance, and that's from an inspiring life that begins and continues with you. And some of you have faith, and others of you will have science, and we all come together having a very good time. One second though, because there's some other words that I was looking for. So honest conversations and real life experiences. This is what I get to offer of a mystic spiritual living, our humanity's higher self potential, but you have yours and I have mine. Okay, so the reason divinity descends once you're overflowing with humanity, I'm bringing to explanations that are from a human to another human who is in this realm of multidimensionality is, and with Dr. Dana Siegel explaining what an integrated brain is, which is a conduit that works very well, and then energy body expands, so I know all about that one too. Light body, light body, light body, rainbow body, okay? So it's not something that I think of as, oh my God, wow, I'm so special. People who are giving these attributes to stories and to other beings, that's how they're going to be making sense. I'm making sense of you're a body and you have an embodied brain. It's not making sense. I have the data, the proof. The people who are doing the research, they're continuing to do it, okay? So they're continuing to show through helping to heal people how window of tolerance works and getting a window welcome. And so when you're wanting to say rigidity and chaos and being uncomfortable is something that is special, and that's our human makeup. It's we're like the animal kingdom. In the absence of secondary consciousness, they have a way their bodies work, so do we. So it's the basics of biology, right? And I'm not an expert in that. That's why again, no tidbits. But my point is biology, neurobiology, neuroscience shows that a healthy body has a body in connection. A healthy body is a person who's self-aware, accountable, regulating. A healthy body can move from rigidity and chaos to centeredness. So that's why Dr. Dana Siegel, with his lovely PDP framework, personality patterns and temperament. So once you have wholeness, and that's whether you needed therapy or you didn't, you're going to have fun like I do with your mystic stuff, spiritual stuff, and you don't actually get confused. and you understand the other stories, the other beings. Like, it's not that it's a fiction to Maria, no, but I'm okay with treating it like fiction because I'm grounded in reality, knowing that the explanation of how the embodied brain works is more important to me to share to you, because Patrick McNamara proves there's no demon possessing anyone, and the therapists prove a fragmented state of self. And the therapists prove more, again, when your body doesn't have a window welcome, how you snap and get offline. So I know that my voice can trigger someone, which means that I got people walking around, all I need to say is something, and they're snap and done. So the point is, human stuff is more important than bringing to you, here, I'm an Acturian, I'm a Pleiadian, I'm a this, I'm a that, because, by the way, I mean, I'd have to sit down and organize all that, but my point is, I'm more interested in helping you understand that you're only going to embody your human full potential when you own your body and brain. As a mystic spiritual one, you're only going to become a channeler that can transcend intuition and illusion and the 4D bandwidth, not because you're talking about ego death, spiritual, dark night of soul, not because of all these words, shadow stuff. People do use shadow work. They use the archetypes, and then they get on the screen. You're not actually integrating your child part as you get in a screen and start to just show me you're very upset because you did no self-reflection, self-awareness. No, you just did a showtime. And now all the people who have the same reaction you do, who are also emotionally immature, are doing what you're doing. So now we have copycats of you. Oh wow, Peter Pan with the Lost Boys, hurrah, hurrah, you're all copying each other. Great. You haven't learned how to use your emotional body, let alone do you know how to handle your pain body, because you're also objectifying it when you're using words that don't actually heal your self, which is very important because it's part of you with implicit and explicit memory. And it's actually your one, two. So again, all of this to say our oversoul and our soulmates and twin flames and any of that doesn't destabilize a person who is grounded in the 5D collective mystic spiritual plane, because we will understand exactly what we're being gifted and or given, and it's not a curse. When you hear someone think that they have the short end of the stick and you say, but we are in communion with God, yeah, but we feel more. I don't think that's really what this is. I think we all feel more. We all think we feel more, you know what I mean? Like, I can feel like I've been wronged, and I can feel deeply upset. And it's okay, 1-year-old. It's okay, don't worry. Wait, let me get into the posture. Which one was it? I forget it now. But activate the ventral vagal state. Here we go. This one is the posture. So at the end of the day, you know, it's really funny, but you don't leave any of those who are of emotionally immature mannerisms to hang out and dry just because they have bad habits and bad patterns. It's really just futile stuff. But you do know, thank you, Sadhguru, may your decisions be based upon what truly matters in works, not upon your likes and dislikes. And never think in terms of who is doing better or worse than you. The only question is whether you are doing your best. And then there was one more that I wanted to share. This one is on good intentions are not enough. It takes the right action performed with the right consciousness to produce the necessary results. So when I hear this word right, the right thing to do is to point out to every person, your body connected, get ownership of your sense of self, become an emotionally mature person like a Terry Real. You'll know how not to have longing and how you can speak up about feelings, and you'll know how to reassure your 1-year-old, for real, not pretend. Then you'll know that this right thing is a bullshit word to be used in the way that people are using it when they want to tell you how the right way is to connect, how the right way is to do love, how the right way is to do this, that. The right way is different for everybody, but the right way is still the same, which is a person who can feel sad, mad, afraid, with an open heart, and not call it laundry, because emotions, physically speaking, last 90 seconds when you know how to use your embodied brain in the flow state, which a neuroscientist will tell you is not supranatural, it's human embodied capacity. So while I do know of our ascension energies, that's why we're going to have the 8th and 9th chakra exercise, the practice that's being prepared for Patreon and those who will purchase it. That's because as ascension energies come about, things take place. So I'm not going to use it for this episode. I am waiting for us to have tears on YouTube, and then I'm waiting for it maybe on Substack or something else, but the mystic stuff, because there's definitely a timeline we have, but it's not in the way that the 4D keeps presenting it. It's hilarious. I get it though, because their brain only can make sense of things with the stories that they've read. I don't use stories because God is one. So I just know that wherever and whatever is gonna take place, I don't question. You don't question it, because that's the point. If you're a vehicle and you are in a direct communicative state, the ventral vagal state, the frequency of equanimity, that's, if you don't know, I'm a co-author of the book The Ways to God, so you can learn a little bit about Maria's story in the one chapter that I write. There's 9 of us. It's called God is Discerning, Equanimous Love. So I had good Christian Catholic upbringing people, and then I have a good mom who taught me what is right to do and not right to do, and then I have society that continued to share with me the right thing to do, which is to respect people. So subjective reality is what is the right thing, and if you're an atheist, that's great for you. I'm not, and that's where that doesn't mean I'm going to impose my faith on you or make you a believer. No, and actually God doesn't make anyone do anything, because that's actually how this is not about I make. Free will. You get free will. I'm a choice point for you. You're a choice point for me. I already know what my choice point will be because I chose it a long time ago. I will forgive. I will turn the other cheek. I will know that my brothers and sisters are all the same angels that I am, and then I know that for the mystic ones we have galactic beings, our future self, and a lot more, but I don't need to spend time too much in that world, because when the messages need to come forth, they come, and I continue to live my day-to-day in my human body, which I'm honored to be in, because as everyone knows, your soul continues to live. Who wants to live forever? And it takes with it all of the lifetimes. So Maria always builds upon more, upon more, upon more. And that's exactly why an empowered feminine can tell you that even as we are presented with something that we will be confused, no, that we will be asking God questions about, it won't be confusion. So self-empowered, enlightening mystics don't have it confused. It's one love, that's it. Otherwise you're choosing fear, and you masking it up like the anger, right? Whatever, go for it, have fun, choose, shoot, go away. So this is why it's a clear-cut equation. I can have integrity and morality by being self-aware, accountable, regulate, and know that I'm subjectively going to be different than you, and I don't know your body at all, and I won't be the one who says I know you. No, I don't know you, you don't know me. It's called differentiation of self with equanimity, ventral vagal state. That's why people who are insecure, they don't like it, because they want to enmesh. And while we're not enmeshing, it's not because we don't want to. No, we're creating a mui. So this is why it's an in-depth topic. When you are transcending intuition and illusion, it's because you are knowing through love that I have a subjective experience, so do you. I can have channeling downloads, I can have messages, so can you. For mystic spiritual, then we have the ones who don't, and they will take us and think we're woo-woo pseudoscience, that we're bullshit, that we're wackos, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's all these subject matters, and nobody's going to be like, oh my God, I'm so offended. Because that's why we're not the ones who are wearing a mask. We are the luminous warriors who know how to use our prefrontal cortex. Healthy boundaries. I know how to love myself first. I don't long for you, I enjoy you. Medicine wheel. I'm a body that's connected, I'm growing, and I'm expanding with you, which is why, like with my facade friend, you give with grace and gratitude, you also receive. You know, this and that are true. Both of us have perspectives. In the prefrontal, curious, open, accepting, loving, so it doesn't matter, twin flame, soulmate, I'm going to be loyal because I said yes, I want to be in a relationship. So no expectations. We don't act as if we're cool. We tell you what we think, and you tell us what you think. And then the ones with real power continue to have fun. The ones without the power, they get to figure out if they're okay with the secure relationship that they're building, because they have to be okay with the healthy boundary stuff. So that's why when you meet the good therapist, they tell you, Dr. Daniel Fox, people who want to live a life with unhealthy boundaries, they won't be around the ones of us who know healthy, because they actually have this way. I'm going to add a side note of they have a way they want to. It's not they want to. Their subconscious rules them. Their 8-year-old is what rules them. So what stands in the way of being who you really are, it's if you don't own your child parts, and if you don't own your nervous system, and if you don't own any of that which is reactivity, including anger, and then there's sadness and the fear. So the overflowing in humanity, divinity, empowered feminine doesn't have saga or drama with any of the twin flames. Nobody's testing anyone. And in fact, the more I try to share with you all what happens, is that we will be very straightforward, because I'm a choice point and you're a choice point, and I am a person and you're a person, and I will know that I deserve, like you deserve, utmost, not a little bit, I deserve, like you deserve, respect. However, like my facade friend showed me, that idea of respect is different. And like detachment trauma educators inform me, emotionally immature people don't care to respect you because they have no sense of self. Their 0 to 8-year-old is who's leading them. That's an emotionally immature human being who has no capacity to self-regulate. Therefore, I'm not dealing with a grown human being. I'm with a Cusco that has 5, at best, poker hands. Unimpressive, but it will be the 5 poker hands they play. Once I know you, you know me, and now we can have a good time. But the part about what is very unimpressive are the people who, they just don't understand that emotionally immature people aren't choosing this. So when you're cutting someone out, that's not nice, is what I'm trying to get to. But that will obviously mean that that other person doesn't know how to self-regulate either. So at the end of the day, some people, they stay martyrs, superiors, blamers, codependent, or anyways, they stay in a way of not wanting to put up with emotional mastery. They won't want to do that part because they feel that it's too much. In fact, they're like, I don't want to handle emotionally immature people. I, on the other hand, say that's not actually nice because we all can be a pain in the ass, So I'm going to also note that Christ consciousness, there's a reason for emotionally mature people. If you're here, it's an emotionally mature person. It's the ones who want to feel like they got the short end of the stick. No, nobody, actually some people did get the short end of the stick. They all need therapy. And some are completely ignorant of it, and some are completely aware of it, and they don't believe the mental health professionals. So the reality is I don't look up to those who betray themselves because they betray their inner child, and I'm an inner child who says you can get yourself online now. And your betrayal shows exactly why your hypocrisy is beyond a shadow of a doubt visible, to the point of where I will present you the truth in a balanced way, because equanimity means that. Not by shaming, blaming, or faulting, or revenging. No, I will share with you the truth, and I will be able to point it out because I'm not making it up. I'm not using a little play of words. I'm actually sharing with you something that does take place that then shows, okay, so hypocrisy right here. My facade friend, he's perfect. When I called him a hypocrite, he then called me a hypocrite. I said, you're a hypocrite because you don't do things in this way. You're not aligned. So I was trying to say, you don't have alignment. You're not keeping your word. You use people. You don't have friends because you're an asshole. You know this already. I'm the only friend that actually cares about you. That's because I made a promise, and I don't choose friends randomly. I would not betray you because that would make me a hypocrite, a coward, and really, that's just not nice. I would not be proud of Maria. So there, you can call it selfish. I'd be like, that's really not nice, Maria. Wow. So we don't need to blame monsters for people not being nice. Not being nice is because I could be rude. Okay, but by being aware, taking accountability, ownership, you choose to allow yourself to be the bigger person in a mature emotional way, but you also process if something really hurt your feelings, like anyone does. That's, again, no longing for the emotional need, because you are the one who satisfies the mental, emotional, physical needs, so you're self-empowered. So when somebody who is insecure is in the presence of that, they have to handle the fact that we don't need this, and that their games don't work because we don't play games. It's not petty, foolish shit. It's like watching Tom and Jerry. But at the end of the day, when cosmic karmic balancing takes place and you're in communion with Akash Source God, yes, that's I will save that story for another time. But all I can tell you is you consistently will be presented with the two choices. Are you going to be kind and help somebody get up, or are you going to be a liar and think that you are being tested to cut people out? And that's as I'm higher in my frequency. I feel more. Savior complex people. They don't understand that that's their 1-year-old, their 3-year-old that wants justice still for something that is called their feelings got hurt. They're really upset, and they could have a nice conversation about it. And that's the other part of why cowards are unimpressive. They never have conversations like the real kind, like good ones. My facade friend showed me how not to In fact, thanks to him, because I had a very serious conversation when we became friends again. 3 years down the line, I'm seeing that conversation went out, and that is not the only person. So emotionally immature people, you have serious conversations with them because they think they know you better than you know them. So they're talking over you. None of what you're saying, you didn't say anything of importance. That's why the selfishness. So there's a difference, because if I'm sharing the depths of me and you're talking over me and you think you know it, you just did the one thing that an empowered person would be like, okay, I didn't get heard. Well, that's fascinating. So thanks to him, though, I know that those who have bad ears don't hear you, and that just means they're talking over you, which is okay too. So once you're aware of how it works, the selfishness, we all will, don't plug my nose, I'm going to get away. But some people are selfish in a way of having abandonment, rejection, insecurities, and then they just hang out with people who pat each other in the back, and they use stereotypes and generalizations, and they completely dehumanize and deepen all relationships by creating kind of like a fad group. No, the ones who are emotionally mature, we create deep connections, which is why it isn't some small thing. But my friend taught me how not to stop talking to friends. So I learned how Maria's idea of disrespect is different than emotionally immature people. They continuously think that they're not disrespecting anybody by pretending to be themselves because they lack self-awareness, though. So as Bezo Vanderbilt points out, you can't talk sense to someone who's going to go marry the wrong person. And yeah, you don't talk sense to Cuscos because they think that they're not Cuscos. And they think that they're correcting other people is the right way. So you just say, okay, I have a person like that and more. So you really don't expect them to do anything. But if they're on the ground, you lift them up. And even if they pull you back, you lift them up again. Now, if they try to get you to fall with them, that's where, okay, look, I don't want to fall, so I have to leave you now. So that's where the unhealthy self-worth people, they are the ones who, if they want to bring you down, meaning have you play some kind of immature game, you don't do it. But you also don't get in their face about it, because it's not necessary. So you just allow yourself, again, it's a very straightforward conversation. I've had it. If you continue on this path, I won't be ghosting you. I just won't be interacting at all with anything. From this moment forth, do it one more time, and I'm not playing. I won't answer. Just know it. That way I was polite enough to let you know, and that way you will be able to expect it. And we're not like, oh my God, I'm so upset and afraid about it. I mean, obviously we like to share feelings with mature people. So self-agents, we come together. Join us as mystic, spiritual, mindful, living, loving people. Some will say we are the same, and we will know the difference. The difference is we do understand we're all crooked, meaning we all are, well, mistakes. We all can make mistakes, but humanity is not a mistake. Did you ever wonder how people are like talking about humans? They're special. We're the only beings who are going through. We're the only beings we know about. Like, we haven't met aliens yet. I have in my mind's eye. I have in my astral travel. I have in my multidimensional being. Yes, I have. I still know that I haven't yet been able to have the honor to shake the hand of one. So I just know that difference, which doesn't make what I live, the astral travel, multidimensional, 12th, all of that, unreal. Just saying, though, I would really love to shake a hand. And if that day happens, well, we'll find out. It's the year 2025, so apparently we might have that honor. In the meantime, I have galactic beings with me right now. There's my ship. I got a ship that I also hang out in every now and then. I have a number of myselves, yes, as this luminous warrior. We know we don't do war. That's why we're luminous. Again, we bring the wheel of medicine ourselves. And that's because ventral energy, we are the safe haven, secure base of a lot of people, because the world is connected through our frequency, like the animal kingdom, which is why we're not separate from it. But we still know I am not really great at hunting. So I would say if I'm ever by myself, but I don't plan to be, I'm like, I don't know, I might die of hunger. But since I'm smart enough to know my weaknesses, I'm like, okay, who's the great tracker here and strong? And like really healthy, and there you go. Now I know I will survive. I will survive. So hopefully we don't have to, go down that path. But if ever you surround yourself with people that love you and you love them, and we let the ones who are playing petty come along, just because once you learn their hands, it's not really impressive. Again, they do the same things over and over again. We'll be back with more. Have a good one.